Welcome to the Wizard of Radical Self-Respect. My name is Jared Mello, and today I'm going to go over the question, does Kratom have withdrawal? This is a question that I see a lot of confusion about and a lot of misunderstandings about, so I wanted to clear them up the best that I can. Now, before I get into that, I do believe Kratom should be legal everywhere in the world, because I believe people should have the freedom to decide what they want to put into their bodies. Now that I got that part out of the way, what are my thoughts on Kratom withdrawal? I believe there is a Kratom withdrawal, and to me it is more severe than a coffee withdrawal, but less severe than heavy opiates like methadone, Suboxone, heroin, etc. Now, if someone has done those heavier drugs before, a Kratom withdrawal may seem more mild, but someone who has no experience with heavier drug use, a Kratom withdrawal can feel pretty bad. Now, there's also other variables at play. Does someone have an underlying mental health condition? Does someone have chronic pain? And what is your physical health condition? Because either way, if you were self-medicating anxiety or depression with Kratom, those symptoms will most likely return when you stop, and you're probably going to have to find something else to do about your mental health issues. And the same with chronic pain. If you were taking Kratom for chronic pain, then yeah, that chronic pain is probably going to come back, and you're going to have to do something about it. Now, I do believe our attitudes can go a really far way when it comes to Kratom withdrawal. If we think it's going to be awful, terrible, and it's going to be hell, chances are it's going to be much worse. But if our attitude is, hey, I'm going to feel pretty crappy for a few days, I'm not going to sleep too well, but on the other side of this, I'll feel better and I'll have an opportunity to take care of myself in new ways, it won't be as bad. Now, there are some people who are pretty lucky and they don't experience much Kratom withdrawal. And for those people, I say, yeah, that's great. But don't assume that's going to be you. Assume there will be a little bit of withdrawal, but that doesn't mean dwell on it and think about how horrific and terrible it's going to be, but act accordingly. To me, Kratom withdrawal will last a few days. I'll have a couple nights of not being able to sleep, maybe 2 to 3 of those nights, and I'll feel lethargic probably for a few more days out of that. But I'm also in pretty good shape, so I would rebound pretty quickly. But the reason why I take it is anxiety, so when I stop taking it, anxiety comes back. That's just the way the ball bounces with this for me. But again, not everyone's going to have the same experience. Some people that are just taking it recreationally, they can stop it and it won't be that much of an issue for them. But for someone who really needs it for anxiety, depression, or pain, it will be a different story for them. And another thing to note, there are some people who are just addicts, and whatever they take, they will abuse that thing eventually. So whether it's Kratom, coffee, booze, benzos, opiates, stimulants, it doesn't matter. For them, 1 is too many, and 1,000 is never enough. They have to really be careful about their Kratom usage. And ultimately, everyone needs to be really honest with themselves about how they interact with substances. Kratom needs to be respected. It is a plant, but it is also powerful, and it can also have withdrawal. That has to be understood. And I see sometimes people taking extreme doses of Kratom and then stopping cold turkey and then wondering why or surprised they feel awful. But to me, 10 grams or less of Kratom per day is all you need, with a maximum of 20. Less is more when it comes to Kratom, but when people abuse it and they don't respect it and then get careless about it, then they're more likely to have a bad experience and to go through worse withdrawals. And again, some people might cite, oh, this person was taking 50 grams a day and they didn't feel any withdrawal. Don't expect that to be you. That is a lucky person who is more likely an outlier. For most people, if they stop taking something cold turkey, Regardless of what it is for that matter, this is true for almost anything you could take daily, whether it's coffee, benzos, opiates, whatever, or booze, you will experience some withdrawal, which is why one of the best things to do is taper. Taper, reduce your intake by a little bit each day, 0.1 grams per day, etc., and that will make withdrawal much more manageable. There's also lots of supplements to take out there as well that can really help with the symptoms. For example, black seed oil can really help, magnesium can really help, GABA can help, L-theanine can help, 5-HTP can help, niacinamide can help. There are many things out there that can help. But again, at the end of the day, it is your body, and everyone's body will be a little bit different. What helps one person a lot may not help someone else, and vice versa. But that's the game plan here with Kratom. For most people, there will be a withdrawal. If you're not used to any kind of substance withdrawal, it can be a pretty painful experience. If you've experienced many other substances withdrawal, it may seem more mild to you, but it will certainly be noticeable. It's not like going to be nothing. There will probably be something. But when we respect the plant Kratom, and we know how powerful it can be, we can act accordingly and do the right things in the future. But when you abuse the plant and you take massive doses, you're going to be in a world of hurt if you probably stop taking it out of nowhere. So I wanted to clear up some of the confusion here because there is a lot of misconceptions. There are people who think there will be no withdrawal or they will be one of the lucky ones that never gets withdrawal. Don't assume you're going to be that person. Assume that if you don't taper and you go cold turkey, there will be some unpleasant side effects. You'll get some restless leg. You won't be able to sleep. You'll feel lethargic. Underlying mental health conditions can come back, except even more severe. These are all things to consider. But overall, I think Kratom can be a great thing for a lot of people. It helps people's anxiety. It can help people's depression. It can help people's chronic pain. It can help people's focus. It can help people's motivation. It can do many things. But the plant has to be respected. And when it's abused, those positive benefits are not as much there as they used to be. So those are the things I wanted to mention about Kratom. It's usually the last thing I would recommend to people if they have anxiety or depression. It's more like if you've tried a lot of other supplements and things, it's one of the last things to try. But I would recommend Kratom over a benzo. Night and day, yes, because a benzo is extremely powerful and it's one of the few withdrawals that can kill you or give you seizures. And that's something that needs to be taken into consideration as well. Kratom is natural. I like that part of it. But it doesn't mean there will be no withdrawal. And it doesn't mean it's not a powerful plant. It gives people opiate-like sensations, even though it's a part of the coffee family. But that's my spiel on Kratom withdrawal. I say for most people, there will be a withdrawal, depending on your experience with substances. If you have a lot of experience with substances, it might seem more mild in comparison, but definitely noticeable. But if you have no experience with substance withdrawal, and then you're taking a lot of Kratom, and then stop cold turkey, you are someone who is probably going to be in for a world of hurt. And you gotta know that. So if that's you, taper, slowly reduce the amount you take, try to exercise, try to get yourself into better physical shape. Keep in mind the supplements that can aid in withdrawal and tapering: black seed oil, agmatine, 5-HTP, GABA, magnesium, and there's many more. You can reach out to me if you want to know other things like that, L-theanine, but you got to play it smart because if you're reckless and you're careless, it's not going to be too good, and those are the kinds of things that give Kratom a bad name. When people abuse it, and use it recklessly, and then get all hurt and upset that they're going through a withdrawal and rant and rave about it, it does smear Kratom, and it gives people that want to make Kratom illegal, it gives them more ammunition to do so. So rather than give them more ammunition, do the responsible thing. Know your body, taper, and do what's best for you. If you're an addict and you know you abuse most things you take that into consideration as well. maybe Kratom is not the right thing for you. But ultimately, I want people to know all of this so they can go into using Kratom with their eyes wide open. There are a lot of people that want to make it illegal, so you're probably forced to take their alternatives. And I don't think that's good too. But I want to be very honest and very clear about the pros and cons of Kratom so that people can go into it the most aware as possible. But again, don't take my word for it. Do your own research as well. Because, hey, trust yourself at the end of the day. Don't trust somebody you see on the internet or just YouTube talking about something. Trust your own research and instincts. That's what I want to empower people to do. I'm someone who has experience with this, so take my words into consideration, but don't just believe me blindly. Follow your own instincts as well. Do your own research. So that's my video on Kratom here. I think it's an important topic because when people don't know the consequences and then they do things recklessly and take tons of Kratom, don't taper in any way, that can be a problem. And they're the people that get all bent out of shape and have terrible withdrawal, and it makes the whole plant look bad. When in reality, if they had more knowledge going in, it might not have been that bad for them. So that's why I wanted to make this video. So if you got this far, please remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video if you liked it, and share this video with others that you think might benefit. I talk about things radical self-respect related here, and a lot of times it's narcissism related too, but part of recovery to me is trying to be the happiest and healthiest version of ourselves. And to me, things like supplements can absolutely aid in our journey, and even Kratom in some cases can aid in our journey as well. But again, people have to know themselves. It won't be for everybody, but for some people it can be a great thing. And it would be a shame to see it become illegal because some people don't know how to be responsible with their use, or they give it a bad name because they do things reckless and careless and then blame Kratom. Kratom is what it is. I think it should remain legal. I think all of the substances should be legal for that matter, for the same reason, because I want to empower people, and people should have the freedom to choose for themselves what they put in their body. That's my thoughts on the matter, but some people like to think, nope, people shouldn't have that decision for themselves. They're not smart enough or responsible enough. But just because some people aren't responsible enough doesn't mean everyone should lose the opportunity. That's my thoughts on Kratom. If you have any questions, write them in the comment section below, and I'll happily answer them. So with that, thank you very much for watching.